I was eating in the parking lot today, and this couple came up to my car and they asked me for a ride, and I was like, sure. And they got in. He was like, how much you gonna charge me? I was like, just give me $5, you know. And yeah, he got in the car with his girl and we were talking, and he was like, you know, humanity is dead and people just like don't help each other anymore. And it's true. And it got me to thinking. I just started thinking about like the past, you know, and how like we had family and we had families' houses to go over, even if the family didn't like each other, because we knew they were talking shit about each other, but they still went over each other's homes. They still had aunties watching the kids and grandparents, and the shade was thick, but we stuck through it. Like I saw families stick through the shade and the nonsense, but you know what I mean? And I think it's just because that's what society said that we had to do. So there was no excuse to get out of it. And now we live in a world where everyone knows their rights and everyone knows how they're supposed to be treated. And we live in a more softer society where you can't just get away with treating people bad, or you will get cut the fuck off. You will get told, you know. And it's a beautiful thing in some ways, but I think this is why we can't depend on each other, because it's so easy to cut somebody off, and it's so easy to block people, and you know, it's so easy to be by yourself, you know, and there's no community. I feel like it's a good thing that we have boundaries, right? But now there's nothing that's forcing us to be together. And I wanted to add this. I started driving now, but not only is nothing forcing us to be together, we're still messy. Nobody fixed the messy shade going on between the families. Everybody just self-respect and self-standards got high, but no one's willing to change their behavior towards one another. This is why I talk about humanity. When I'm online and I'm like, you can't just comment shit like that. You can't just comment shit like that and then think nothing's going to happen to you. This is the world we live in. I can dish it, but I can't take it. Because as soon as you dish it, which other people are feeling, and that's why the fuck they don't want to be around you, you receive it and then you go, oh no, absolutely not. I'm not having this. Well, stop dishing that shit then. Same concept of like men. They want women, but they don't know what to do to keep the women. They look on social media. Now you can see everybody naked. You can see naked bodies. You can see the lives of everybody. Women are half naked everywhere. Everybody's cooking. Everybody's like, it's like visually appealing to be near certain people and certain groups of people, and you want that in your life. You see an attractive woman, you say, oh, I want that attractive woman in my life, but you don't want to do the work to keep her. And the thing is, back in the day, so if I'm just going to keep on with the same example, back in the day, I'm not saying men were less chauvinistic or misogynistic or whatever. They just knew they couldn't do that shit out loud. Now you have young men who are online screaming, you know, passport bros, red pill, and all this other weird shit. Fuck these women. They doing weird shit, but then you still want to be in the presence of women. Make that make sense. So this is why there's a lonely man epidemic where men are not getting no play. It's not that we've changed so much. It's just that the societal standard has changed in, you know, how you carry yourself or how you're allowed to carry yourself. But what you guys are missing is that it wasn't right back then. It wasn't right back then to be misogynistic, right? They just hid it. Now we're still misogynistic. The men are still misogynistic, and they're not hiding it. So it's even worse. No one's obligated to like stay with you or marry you or do any of this stuff. Everybody's standards are so fucking high, which I do think is a good thing, but that's also supposed to raise and elevate, you know, the vibrations of this earth and how we treat each other. But no, we're still stuck in the past with how we think, but we've raised our standards. This is why we all have no one. This is why, you know, we can get nowhere. And if I'll just say, starting with millennials down, if we're so much better than our parents, which I think that we should be, I think that any generation of people who are born from the older generation should be better than the last generation. And if we're better than the boomers or whatever, then we should be hugging our children and telling our children that we love them and showing up for them just like people showed up for us, but in a more healthier way. Since we're saying we have higher standards and we have boundaries and we want to, you know, we're going to progress and elevate the state of humanity, then we have to actually do that. We can't just make it look like that on social media with little clips and little think pieces. And we understand that there's so many autistic people across the world, but in relationship with people, we don't give each other grace. What is the point of getting online and talking about the traits of autism? I'm jumping. If you guys know me, I ramble. What is the point of getting online and educating people about the traits of autism, and then you have two autistic people who talk to each other, and as soon as one of them do something you don't like, you cut them off, knowing goddamn well they're autistic? I just think society's a little bit more selfish. That's what it is. You're a little bit more selfish, and yes, we needed that. We needed a little bit of that to be a little selfish, you know. But I think it's gotten out of hand, and if we continue to let it keep going this way, we're all just gonna be very lonely, and we're gonna have nobody to depend on. And I think it really speaks to the hearts of everybody. And everybody knows how they want to be treated. But here's the kicker. They don't want to do the work to have those relationships anymore. They think that those relationships are supposed to be like, you know, I see videos online and these single mothers are like, nobody's helping me. Because nobody's regarding each other the way that they should be doing it. Like you're not being nice to one another. You're not picking up the phone. You're not checking up on. You're keeping your distance. And then when holidays come, you're like, why is nobody there on the holidays? Because you're not doing the maintenance. You're not doing the maintenance to keep up the relationships. And we just don't live in a society anymore where it's people are obligated to do it. So you have to put in the work. You have to choose your family. You have to say, well, I want to put effort towards you because you're my family. And we also have to be a little bit less quick to cut people off and to just like shut down and not talk about our feelings and what we need to do to fix it. And I think that's just the problem. I was just thinking, and I just want to share that. What do you guys think?